Hi everybody. Today I want to do an unboxing of this Hyper Tough mini grease gun. I know it ain't like the best brand and stuff, but I bought it for one reason. I just want to have it for, when you're greasing up your car, stuff like, ball joints and stuff. That's the only reason I want it. I want nothing else with it. So here, here's all the information. It says it creates up to 3,500 psi. Easy one-handle operation. Uses standard 3-ounce grease cartridges or bulk 150cc. Includes 9-inch heavy-duty flexible hose and 5-inch pipe with coupler. So, and also it says what it's included, which is the minigun, obviously, and also they mentioned the 5-inch metal pipe. That's a good thing. A 9-inch flexible hose and a 1 coupler. So this guy wasn't too expensive in my opinion, and I don't want to use it all the time. It's just whenever I'm doing oil changes in cars, grease up the ball joints and stuff. I would highly recommend doing that when you're doing oil change. Just give a little grease to the ball joints and stuff. You have those type of ball joints. So we got here. It cost me $16 for this little grease gun. Also, at Walmart, they sell these guys, Lucas mini purpose grease. They only sell them for like 12 bucks. It comes with 3 types. I didn't need that much, just enough. But I like the Lucas. It's a good product to me, and I've been using them for a while. So we're gonna start unboxing this little guy. Give me a minute. I need a bucks cutter. Okay, back with a bucks cutter. All right, let's see. I think it doesn't need one. I saw a minute ago there was like some tape, unless I was, yeah, there's tape. I was going crazy there for a minute. And you do get a 1-year limited warranty on this from the day of purchase. Okie dokie. It's good to know. Here we are. I think that's all that comes in the box. Yes, nothing else. That's all we get, So we see the grease gun, the Hyper Tough logo. We see the hose, the flexible hose, and just the straight one, the coupler. So let's start opening this little guy and let's see. Alright, so here we are. We got the little grease gun here. Tiny little guy. That's where the insert goes. And looks like you will be needing a tool. Okie dokie. And also we got the 2 hoses separately. It's kind of nice that they give you the option if you just want it straight or you want it a little flexible, which I'm going to go more with the flexible. I need flexibility more, and they don't apply any taffy tape or anything, so I do need to get my own taffy tape, or we call it, I call it taffy tape. I forgot what it's called, but it was something. I don't usually go by that name, but I call it taffy tape. But that's what we need. So I'm gonna see. Looks like I do need a tool. I'll be back in a minute. Let me get a tool real quick. Okay, so let's see if it's the right size. Let's try give it a 5.5 try. Let's see if that will do it. No, it's a little too big. Let's go with the 5 then. It's a 5. Okay, get that loosened up. Okay, so first off, you do need a 5. I am going to give you all a heads up. It is a bit difficult, I am trying to get this guy out. But in case you're not going to put the hose and you're going to put this guy, just in case, all you got to do is just insert it through here and throw it onto here. There we go. That's what we do. And in case you want to use the hose, I will recommend doing it here. You need to put it here. And I want the hose because it is a pain in the butt sometimes. With this option, you don't get that much flexibility to grease anything. This one, you get a little more flexibility and you could go through almost anything. So I'm going to try to get this guy out, which I am struggling to do, which is kind of weird that I'm struggling, but Let's see if I get it out here. So I'll be back in a couple minutes. Just let me get this guy popped off. Okay, so after getting this guy out, which he was definitely in there, I had to help it, like, had to use kind of like a breaker bar to pop this little guy off, which give a big fight. So it gives you an option of depending how you want to do this. Like if you want to use this as here, you can go and do that if you want to. It's up to you. Or through here, doesn't really matter which direction, you know. The hose one, I would highly recommend going this route only, because there's no way you can fit the hose through here. And you tighten this guy up, and also put the plug on the other hole that you're not using in case you do go this route. So give me a sec. Let me tighten this guy up, which it was tight on there, and it should be that tight just to do something like that, you know. So I'm gonna snug it up as much as I can, because that shouldn't, there's no way you should have played that kind of way. There we go. And there we go. Just gotta tighten this guy up. You know, put some little thread tape. I think that's what you call it. Usually I call it taffy tape, which is kind of weird, but that's what I usually been calling it for years. People usually, when, you know, at school, me and my friends did that, and we call it taffy tape, and that's how we've been calling it, which it kind of stuck on me, so that's why I don't usually use that. But here in a minute I'll find out what size, but you do need a 5 hex key for this, and that was a hard guy to get off. You know, that guy was definitely hard. But I'll get this guy, you know, get a couple of wrenches and get that tightened up, so give me a minute. Okay, so now it'll be time to set up the grease. We got this tightened up. If you want to know the size, a half and a 12mm will help you out with that. You know, help you put in these, tighten these up perfectly fine. But let's start getting the grease. Now this one has 3. Most likely probably go with the red and thick grease, but I might go with the extra heavy duty one. This is just for cars, you know. Or maybe this one, formed with anti-seize for maximum surface protection. I might go with this one more. For heavy duty trucks for this one. Farm equipment, construction equipment. That ain't bad. I might go with the red one most likely, but they're both good, whichever one. The blue one is mostly for marine, so anything that's going in the water, that'll be perfectly fine. Maybe if it rains a lot, maybe you can use that too there. Most likely I'll choose one of the two, see which one we need. I'll go with the green one for extra duty. But if you do want a cheaper, you know, I think tractors they sell it for $8. So if you know, if you need this, there you go. So we're gonna start inserting this guy in. As you can see, just pull the cap. And this one does have a little thing where you have to twist it. And it has little teeth. So let me find the teeth here. Okay, there we go. It has little teeth. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it has little teeth. As you can see. Just twist it, pull it, and then twist it and let the teeth sit on this rim right here. That should give you, you know, a heads up. And then you just insert it. There we go. And then once you get it settled in there, you start pulling the little tinfoil off of it. And be careful not to mess with the little rod here, because if you twist it accidentally, since it doesn't look like it's hooked on well, it could twist and pop off and grease could go flying anywhere. So give me a couple minutes, let me get this peeled off. Okay, now that I got some tinfoil off of it, I couldn't peel it off quickly, so I had to tear a hole in it. You start threading it in. Don't cross thread it, take your time. Which, as you can see, I need to take my time with it. There we go, the threads are grabbing on. Tighten it up. And then once you do, let the rod go, twist it, push it in. It should be pushing in. There we go. Help it out a little. And then you just start pumping So give a minute, let me get some paper. Okay, now I got my piece of paper. We'll start pumping a bit. Till some grease starts coming out. And maybe you need to open it up a bit. And it's a little nice little trick to let it get some air. Shouldn't pop out too much, but it is taking a while. But you keep doing this until grease comes out, so give me some time and let me get this grease going. Okay, so sometimes you might have to open it up, let some air in. I was struggling, but once you feel like the handle's a little harder than it used to be, that's giving you a tell sign that grease is starting to go through, and it should be starting to pop out any minute. I'm gonna give it one little squeeze. There we are. Grease is starting to come out. That's what we needed. Grease. So you do struggle with it, trying to get it started. But as I mentioned, you ain't gonna use it every single day. You know, it's perfect for, like, as I mentioned, if you're gonna grease up something in your car, this is perfect. You know, sometimes you're under there and you want to grease something. This guy's perfectly fine. If you need something more like more heavier duty, say like you do more diesel engines and stuff, I recommend going with a battery operation one. I do have one. It's a Porter cable, and if you want at the end of the video, I'll leave it in the, you know, at the end of the video you can see it if you want interested. But a grease gun is never bad to have. This is just the baby size, you could say. There are bigger ones, you don't need the battery one, the regular ones. But I did struggle a little just to get started, but this is fine, you know, if you're just gonna grease something like ball joints, anything for car related, maybe one little grease. But if you're gonna do something more like a Bobcat wish, I recommend more of something bigger than this guy. But I got it started. I thought I was gonna go, but now I got it started and going, so that's pretty good. All right, well, thanks for watching and have a good day. Okay, so here we are. We're about to grease up using a little Hyper Tough grease gun. And this is the reason why, you know, use this little guy to grease up some ball joints or anything. And, you know, since you don't need nothing big when you're doing car stuff, you know, but I would recommend give it a little cleanup around the little grease fitting before you put grease in it, so it could be clean. You know, use whatever you gotta use. You know, there we are. It's kind of showing itself. And I'm gonna do that to the top as well. There's another one on top. So we're gonna grease the bottom and the top. This is, I think, the only ones that needs over here. I'm gonna check on the driver's side, but this is the passenger side, and we're gonna get that greased up. So we're gonna start in the bottom. I did struggle with it the first couple attempts. I was using on a oil change on a Suburban, and it kind of struggled a bit, but now I got used to it. I did use it on a Ford Ranger as well, but now I kind of gotten it to where it works perfectly fine. And this is another reason why I want it flexible, because you can see there's no way this guy's gonna fit perfectly with a straight pipe, and this one is kind of curved and everything, so we're gonna have to, as you can see, as it curves, as you can see it's curving. That's the reason why I like it where it curves and stuff. So let's start greasing this guy up. Hold it as well. Give it a couple pumps. There we go. And we're gonna grease the top part as well. And looks like that short arm ball joint's gonna need replaced too. But there we are. We're gonna get that greased up too. And there we are. All right, we're gonna start greasing it. There we go. And it's greased. And it did a good job. All right, so it's decently doing well. It's just I did struggle the first couple times, but not anymore. So yeah, decent to me. Okay, so after doing that one little review of the little, you know, greasing it, I was struggling with it at first. Before I went to that car, I was under a Suburban trying to grease it up, and it wasn't pumping, so I had to get out of the car and how to find the issue. You have to let some air out, you know, to get it running, and then once I did, I finally got it working and started pumping. It's decently well, just, you know, when you do use it the first couple times, this little coupler will grab onto it really good, but then after a couple uses, it starts getting loosened up, and it gets enough to where you just plug it in, you can take it off easily. But it's kind of a decent item. I know this guy hasn't been getting good stars. Has been getting like 2 stars. But to me it worked. As I mentioned, I only want it for when I'm doing maintenance to cars. When you do oil changes, I usually wanted it for that reason. This is going to go in the toolbox and sit there for a while until the next oil change. And, you know, it's good to have. You know, it's never bad to have this, you know. And I would highly recommend getting that Lucas, you know, grease. You know, but if you don't want to go for this one, Harbor Freight does sell one. I think it goes maybe for $15 or more. I honestly don't know. Or you could buy a bigger one. But as I mentioned, I wanted it just so I could fit in the car. So I don't need that big boy and need to do that. And in case y'all want something like big and you don't want to be like pumping there, I do have a video of a grease gun that I have purchased. I have it for a year and I've been using it. I would recommend this if you do more diesel work and stuff. Like, you know, it's a little quarter cable grease gun, battery powered. I'll highly recommend it if you're into the bobcats and stuff, anything big heavy machinery. This is a perfect tool to have. You know, but these are more for like, say you just get to grease a couple grease fittings, but if you're gonna be greasing a lot of grease fittings, that one will be a better option. But yeah, for like the price and everything, it's a little pricey in my opinion, but if it works, it's good. I mean, I've been seeing people who have been strolling with it and stuff. I don't know if they just don't know how to prime it or anything, but it worked fine with me. You know, it has a 1-year limited warranty, it says, and you do get this option if you don't want it flexible, but I do want it flexible. But you know, there is this option in case, you know, I will be storing that in case in the future I need to swap it out, but I think I don't. But you know, it's just there just in case. I'll put it in with the grease, and you know, there we go. All right, well, thanks for watching and have a good day. And by the way, if you do need like smaller grease, you know, not too expensive, these cost like $12 for the pack. If you need 2, they sell some at Tractor Supplies for like $7, which ain't bad. All right, thanks for watching and have a good day.